Welcome, everybody. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. We're going to get started here in just a moment and get this thing kind of working. All right. We got our chats finally figured out. We got the streaming issue where we're streaming to the wrong place figured out. Thank God we got that figured out. And we're all kosher at the moment. So I'm going to check one thing. I'm going to check out one thing just to make sure that I'm not double streaming on YouTube. I don't think I am, but it's better to be safe than sorry. Also, how do you guys like the music that I got finally up? Well, how is that? We are double streaming it. Also, how do you guys like the music that I got finally up? Oh, that's great. Awesome. All right. Well, I have to figure that one out, I guess. We'll figure that out now. Well, we can't. Awesome. Okay, I gotta turn myself off because I don't want to hear myself talk. I know it has to be done. Alright, but we're gonna just see why YouTube Studio. Because we are live. I need the information. Oh, you know what? I bet you. Yeah, there we go. That's why. Oh, okay. So I can't unconnect it. Okay. Cool. All right. Because we're streaming at the moment. All right. We're not going to worry about that. Now I know what I got to do. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. We're figuring out how to triple stream. It's fine. We're not hurting anybody, I don't think. At least I'm here. So, everybody, I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Let's switch over to our actual scene. Hey, everybody, we got the camera working as well. This is a great yes. Yes, it is. So we can finally see my face, see how terrible my ideas are, and how terrible my face actually looks while I'm doing such thing. So, yeah, it's been wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Going around, we get to see. I've been doing a little troubleshooting here and there, trying to get everything finally working out when I get a moment or two. So yeah, and then now you get to see my super pasty white self. So, let's dive into things, and so let me show you some of the finalizations I have for our advantages and disadvantages, how we're going to go ahead and do rolling and that kind of rolling stuff. And then what we are going to do from there is we are going to translate some of these things, some of the new things that I already know I was going to do, and translate them into our character sheet, show off our character sheet, and kind of go from there. So first and foremost, as you guys remember, last week we were doing a lot of rolling for done for the for advantages and disadvantages with that congruent, or how that works with wild die. We found out that re-rolling the entire thing feels the best, but I didn't like the fact that you wiped away any chance of using your wild die if it rolled really great. It does make sense to do that, where the reach roll is different, but I wanted to do something slightly different, and so we decided to go with the idea that you get the option to keep the roll, or keep the wild die roll. Now, if that is, you keep it as a non-success, you keep it as a 1, or you keep the entire results that you have, whether it be a single result or multiple results, or multiple successes, I should say, single success or multiple successes, you get to keep that and translate that to your second roll. And I think that's unique enough where it is where it has some interesting interactions there that we're going to have. In my how-to play doc, which will be out for people up at the various locations that I am advertising for playtesting, and making sure that people are on the same page there. We have that whole scenario. They'll get access to this. I'll also have this up on various sites once I get to that point where I'm actually able to sit down and have time. Unfortunately, I had to move. I still have working on the move, getting settled in. I still have to set up lesson plans, and I still have my normal job. So a lot on my plate. Somewhere it has to be cut. Right now, this is where it's kind of being cut a little bit. So, but what we can do tonight is kind of talk about them, kind of go forward with things like that, and move forward with things. And we won't worry about our social media or SEOs or any other marketing stuff because it does not matter yet. Who knows? All right. So first and foremost, we took all those rules are now in place in green in here. It basically outlines the same thing I just mentioned to you. When circumstances are more favorable, you would get an advantage. When you're unfavorable, you get disadvantage. When you get advantage, you take the highest of the two rolls. When you're disadvantaged, you take the lowest of the two rolls. Now that could mean either way, you get to translate that wild die over to the other things. Will that work out great in playtesting? I don't know, which is why we're playtesting it. That's why we test these things. And I did put an example in here. It seemed pretty self-explanatory. You're basically taking a bar dice mechanic where you get to keep your separate rolls, or your rolls, and you get to keep a die from, and it adds to your next rolls. You know, you get 3 shakes. You get to however well you want to organize your dice, because that's how that works. So the other things, though, I wanted to add on here, and I really like the high idea of this, is I forgot to highlight this one. We're going to highlight these ones in a slightly different green, so you can see that these are the ones that I have not tested, but I don't think I can test them in the game or in here as dice rolls. I need to test them out in the real field. So the first one is whenever... Oh, I also got these up here. So we're just going to... Yep. Live editing, super awesome. I am prepared for any of this. In fact, I'm so prepared, guys. It's not even funny. So one of the major rules that I put on here, changes, is if any of your wild die rolls a 1 on the first roll, it can cause a complication or failure. Okay, on the first roll of the wild die. I should clarify that one, because even I got on the first. 1, And then we're just going to put on here a nice little pronouns. Okay. I think if any of your wild die on their first roll results in a 1, you can become considered. Okay, so that means if whether you succeed or not, it is like one of those yes but moments where if the 1 is on the wild die, it can cause complications, that kind of things. So it makes for an interesting kind of moment where you get that yes but this happens, or yes you succeed but this is what happens. This is a bad thing happens as well at the same time. Or maybe not bad thing, but a complication. Like things make things weird. You notice down here, it says, if any of your, we'll get to that in a moment because we add a little spicy stuff in the, later on down the page. So, one moment. I also added in here, if any of your, we need to add that here. If any of your wild die on their first roll results in a 1 and there are not enough successes to beat the TN, or target number, then that is considered, that is a critical failure, and then you are at the mercy of the DM. Which means it's like if equivalent to rolling a 1 on a d20. You failed your roll, and the DM gets to say well, welcome to my little neck of the woods, and I get to mess with you. But if you do roll this one, and you do have a critical failure, there is an upside to this. When this happens, the GM will award an expendable wild die that can be given to other players, to any other player, including the DM or GM. That player can use any number of wild die on a single future roll. Which means that you essentially have the ability to roll multiple die. And it's really cool. And multiple wild die. And it's added onto the things. And it's basically causing you to have this interaction with other players. It causes you to be like, hey, I know this guy's in a tough spot. I'm going to roll here. And that might be something that you really want to do with your advantage, disadvantage, where you're like, hey, I'm going to take this 1 because I want to actually have that die, or be able to give somebody a wild die. It adds a unique combination of things I really like that just kind of blew my mind. Then the other thing, at any time, a player can take damage to their body wounds or to an aspect to convert any of their normal wild dice to. Then I'm not going to make it convert. I think I'm going to read this where at any time a player, we always want to capitalize player because we don't want to things, to their body wounds or to an aspect to gain an current roll. Declared before announced. Okay, so at any time, a player can choose to take damage to their body wounds or to an aspect to gain an expendable wild die for a current roll. This must be declared before the result of the check is announced. So we'll have to proofread that a little bit. But basically what it says is if you're in a situation where you're looking at your rolls and you realize you don't have you're not in a good situation like that, and I'm not giving you advantages or disadvantages, but you want to be able to succeed in this thing, I'm going to give you the option, the agency, to be like, hey, I'm going to wound myself for an additional wild die. It only can be done once. And you must declare it before you have before, like, I say, hey, you succeeded in this task or you failed. That way you don't have this extra option, or it doesn't feel like you're gaming the system or whatnot. The trick here is there is this option here, is how many times can you do it. I want to say 5 times, up to 3 times. I want to say 3 times. The magic number 3. Per instance. Now, I don't know if that is actually a good rule. That one is actually kind of like interesting. I don't know if that is good or not, and I can't test it for myself. I could sit here and roll dice, but I don't. I think that's cool, and I think maybe I might be biased on it. So I want to get other opinions on it. Hi, buddy. Look at that tag wiggling. So what I'm going to do instead is that, what I'm going to do is test it. Oh, and I forgot to turn off my... No, stop. Everyone, stop texting me. Stop it. No, I want... Live editing, guys. Live show happens all the time, right? Don't have to have everything together. Okay, so I want to test that in front of people and see if that's a good idea or not. But the main thing here is I want to have interactions between the aspects, or more interactions for the wild dice, and give people more options of what they can do as they go along, and allow them to earn it. It's kind of like earning action points almost, except it's in the form of wild die. You always get one, so you always have this option for something crazy to happen, but then you have multiple wild die, which is where this is, and you have a solid chance of getting multiple 6s and have to roll them all and getting way more successes. But the thing that I really like here is, as you recall, that little pin I put earlier, if any of your wild die results on their first roll results in a 1, that means there's a complication, which means it's the equivalent of rolling a 1. So if you fail on all those dice, it's really bad, because then I could also be like, you rolled 3 wild die, 3 1s on 3 wild die. This is going to be pretty bad as you go along. But like also for the complication version of it, it means that there's more chances of complication of happenings. So we have a lot of yes ands, but we have a lot of yes buts, which I feel like in a universe that strives to be like a struggle bus kind of scenario, I think that works out really good. But also, you struggle bus with your friends, which is why giving people wild die because you roll the 1 on your things matters. Now, I suppose the one thing that I, now talking this through a little bit, that I do have to concern myself with is, if you roll multiple 1s, do you get multiple wild dice? I think that's a good idea, because that means that it'll have an interesting scenario. I think maybe it might snowball a little bit because you're putting a lot of wild dice on there. I don't know what that looks like. So we're gonna put on here. Well, first we need to test. We're gonna put this in yellow. Highlight this in orange. You can. Is to everyone rolled, or just once? That's a question we need to Actually, we're going to comment on here because then... There we go. That makes it goofy enough that we know we want to test that out. So that is something we're going to play test in the future, which is fun because we get to have those fun little interactions and that kind of things going along. And yeah, we'll kind of go from there. Let's jump. So that is pretty much the main thing. The other thing that the main rules that we're going to stick with for right now, because we need to like eventually we have to try to get a final or get. I could sit here in theory craft all I want, but until you actually get it into people's hands, you don't know what works and you don't know what doesn't work. So in this instance, we are going to what is it, in 2 weeks I'm having a playtest session at a local bar cidery. Yeah, local cidery. They're having an RPG night and we're going to be engaging in there and kind of seeing how everything kind of works for that. So but we also need to make some character sheets, which is what we're going to be doing next. So, here is our lovely character sheet. Anybody who's familiar with OpenD6 will understand how some of this all looks, because you have various different skills on here. If you've played Wild Sea, you can also see that there are the different traits, the health, or the aspects that we have here. Some of this is going to have to be changed, or some of the format how it's designed has to be changed because it's either A, not big enough, or B, it just doesn't, it's no longer usable at the moment. For example, the health track, I have a different idea for that. That one we're going to change up. We're going to change up how the formatting of these advantages and disadvantages, or the aspects, change. We're also going to change how ultimately the numbers or the dots on the skills look. And then I also have to adjust the how to roll part because that is no longer valid either, because of how the system would work. So let's get this party started and start going through and making adjustments. Alright, so first I'm going to just adjust skills. So those have that aspect to, we have to, that's going to have to be extended out a little bit. So in this game, or in the core OpenD6, you are allowed to have up to 10 D6 that you can roll. I wanted to see if we can fit all these numbers in here without, or fit dots in here, and then basically just color in dots and just focus on counting rather than focusing on doing math. Which, counting is math in one regard or not, but we're going to see how this looks as we go along. We're just actually going to delete all these. And then do that. Alright, so then for our decks, we're going to just delete this. And then we should also go through and delete all these in here. Alright, got that there. We're going to reduce the size of this box a little bit just because, nope, doesn't like that. There we go. Just so that we can have control over that. Then we're going to copy this, go over here, These are different sizes, aren't they? No, they're the same size. So we do need to make this other justification. What is okay? So then, what's the easier one here? Do you write down the number, or you just check off the boxes? Let's pause with this a little bit more and see. We verify this. Also, I've thrown weapon in here twice. Why do I have thrown weapon on here twice? Whoop! Nope, 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 nope. I did it again. God dang it. Closing that. The good news is that we can actually just adjust these. Well, that's... Oh, well, that's also not right lined. Grab all this stuff. There we go. We're gonna just try not to look too slackjaw. I did it again. Oh, yeah, hotkeys. Expert developer here. Reduce that just a little bit so we can fit that in there. And then we should probably reduce that up to bare minimum. That's actually on the... Why did you select that? Because there's something there. That's why. I didn't adjust this box, did I? No, I did not. So now it's gonna... Okay, so looking at that, I don't mind it, but it's a lot of dots. It doesn't look as clean. I don't like the fact that it's not clean looking. So what we would want to do instead here, we're just going to go down here. I think we do that instead. 5, 6. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. Yeah, I think that works. I think that works a little better. We may do a second character sheet though, just so we can see, ask questions about that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring that over here. I'm gonna finish up with these, because that way I can go ahead and, oh, that was a bad idea. So we're going to finish up with one style, and we'll create a second one, and we'll put a post up to see which one is better. God. Is this spelled wrong? Most likely spelled wrong. There we go. Typos. People are gonna be able to figure out my. See, what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna go through and edit this whole thing just so that doesn't appear up right, I think. Not that this is the most thrilling content of all time. Alright, so we got that in place. Okay, I'm gonna move this to, change this though to counter. Mainly because I do your channel, which is your casting. That's either transfer things, sense, which means like, hey, you're trying to detect other things magical, and then there's counter, which is basically you're trying to prevent the other person from doing the thing. I think that makes a lot more sense. Why are you white in the background? You should be transparent. Oh, well that don't help me out any. Alright, first we'll finish this up here. Delete all those. Delete all those. I know what I'm doing. I think I know what I'm doing. We're going to have to move this up. And then move this up. Okay, so that's how how that section will look, and the idea is that you just basically check off, like fill in the dot and move forward with that. So we'll do the rest, and we'll do a copy of that for later. I'm not going to bore too many people with that too much tonight. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to adjust the health track. Now, so far, we're just going to drag this off here. We have this thing decides it wants to be its own self. This 5-track here, I looking at. We're batting 1,000 here, Eldon. You're doing a great job here. So I had this here where at some point I thought there was, hey, why don't we just actually have this set up where you roll every time your aspect is reduced down to 0, it opens you up a little bit. You roll a d6 to find out how many to see which ability or if you get hit that time. And it just sounded so complicated after a moment. I'm like, no, this is dumb. We're gonna give you guys the option. So we're gonna copy this though. We're just gonna do this way because this seems like to be a better choice. Of course, then we select the whole. Yeah. Just want to group. This is all grouped together. All right, cool. As you see, there's little deviations, but we're gonna do a little bit of adjusting here because I want this a little bit bigger for here. We're having so much success with this right now. Okay, what I'm going to do actually here is we wanted to produce some strong lines here. What did I cut it. I cut you. Okay, we're just going to select all these, and then we're going to align them vertically down the middle. There we go. Now that looks proper, I think. We got a lot going on in these. No wonder there's such a mess. Okay, so we're just gonna fix these. Line in the middle. I'm gonna group them together. I'm gonna delete these. Alright, now we're going to center these up. Center them horizontally. Line vertically. Alright, now we're just going to copy this over a couple times. Alright, and we can eliminate this one on this side, and this one on this side. Alright, now in my rules here, we label that. Oh, we got the jinx die in here. Ooh, do we get to eliminate that? That's not good here. This is not. Well, okay, it affects that takes damage. You can choose to allocate some of that to the mana for protecting the total body wounds. And 8 for every 3 points the body wounds it receives. That's another question there. It can't be jinx die no more. So I need to figure out what we're going to be adding in here. Like I want to say, like the system that I had this up, it takes. You take a negative dice to the result. So maybe. Minus. What did I just do? Did I just log? How am I don't know how I operate computers. I just like kind of logged myself out for a second there. And I bet you any amount of money my music now stopped for. There we go. I'm a crazy person. Actually, I'm going to bring up something here so that I can see. Just need to bring up the chat here, or bring up the Brew'N version of this so I can see the chat, which doesn't seem to be there. So if you're over there on the Brew'N Channel watching me, I do apologize if you've been saying things to me and I have not caught them. But we'll figure that out eventually. Next week on I Screwed Up Some Else. So, all right. So we're just gonna do it this way. Reduces their. By 1. Till they're All right. So, made that adjustment. We should be fine. We could also put on here... Nope. We gotta keep it player-centered on that one. That is a little extra math. Okay. So. -1. -3. Okay, so we have those added in there. I need to think about like some math here though. You can have. See, body wounds are calculated by the total strength by dividing the strength by 2. So we can technically have 10. Right? Did I say to round it down or round it up? We're gonna go round it down. Which doesn't give you very much a variance, does it? So let's not do that one. What do we have here? Let's do strength. By which means 15. We can also need to make note here. Okay, we're gonna highlight this here for now. Which means we need more of these. Because if the maximum is 15, fives. All right, -. Okay, so we got that. What? Nope, we don't want to do that. Now, how easy is it going to be able to fit this in here? Group that together. Yeah, it don't work, does it? Okay, so we gotta... So, okay. Anyways, so the way body wounds work, and that's what we're looking at here, is for every 3 that you remove, you get a -1 to your result. Same thing down the line, all the way down to there. So we got to do some figure out how we're going to integrate that into here. We might get that down here and replace the reputation, because right now I don't have a reputation functionality in here. So we're going to eliminate that. The other thing that we need to also, so reputation's out for now. Not saying it's not going to be there later, but I think that's probably might be a second sheet. Something for long campaigns. Something to worry about, kind of from there. So, yeah, body wounds would be mathematically derived. I'll have to figure out something a little bit better suited there. That's a little bit of a thing here. But let's adjust this. Okay, I'm just going to... and the dice values... successes. Any 5 ors. 6 is a success. Successes. Your result. This needs to be moved up. All right. Okay. So yeah, and then we have to just kind of divide up these boxes a little bit better to make more sense. We're just going to group this. Because I think what we're going to do for these traits here is we're going to bring this down here, have this block there, but then we also have to add in another block here. do this here. Na-na. And then we get to do... Oh, let's see if we can't... We don't need to have the name there. Alright, we're going to go ahead and eliminate all these, because I think I like how this looks. Actually, alright, so then we're going to group these together. You know what? I haven't seen anything from chat lately. I wonder if I have somehow forgotten to get all chats in here. Nope. Didn't miss a thing, guys. So, finishing this up here, because I don't want to spend too much time on here today, partly because I do realize that I'm doing this on a Thursday, which is never really a smart thing so far, considering I'll be competing with other, let's say, games. And I don't really want to... I don't want to compete with people for their time slots. Well, I do, but I know I can't. So all right. So that gives people enough places to write. Right? I don't know. We'll find out. Go. We'll adjust this here, bring this down here. Alright, we're just going to line that up here. There we go. And then we're going to just highlight these, turn them colors. There we go. Alright, that looks pretty good. Now we just need to figure out what I'm gonna have to sit and think about the body dye a little bit, or the body wounds, and make up a second character sheet that has the things in there, and then we're all ready to start populating these things with abilities and that kind of thing. So make sure that we're all good, moving good there. And yeah, that's about as far as I can really want to get tonight. We're gonna print enough character sheets and filling them out a little bit, seeing how that all works, and seeing if I have enough room to write stuff into. Otherwise, we're gonna need some other fun stuff here as we go along. I do appreciate you guys all listening in on to me while I do some work. Hopefully things look good to you guys, and you guys find it awesome. Hopefully you guys enjoy listening to the music as well as just working on stuff. Hopefully as we get better at this, we will see more playtesting happening, and we'll see more cool stuff happening along the line. So I hope you guys all have yourselves a wonderful day. And hopefully your weekend is awesome, and hopefully your wild die roll amazingly. Always roll sixes. Wild die in your favor. I don't know. I had a really cool phrase last week. I'm gonna have to watch back this train to get that. Anyways, I hope your wild die roll favorably. Or no, I hope